Hello everyone, welcome to Hawkeye Traders. My name is Randy Lindsay, host of today's live interactive session. I am here to educate and inform you on the proper use of Hawkeye on the live edge of the market. If you have any questions or comments, please enter them on the control panel, your GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. I'll be glad to get to them in the order that they're received. Because of the number of people in the class today, I might or might not get your question, so please feel free to repeat your question if it looks like I might have overlooked it. It could get lost somewhere in the crowd, so I don't intentionally miss them. And I want to make sure that everyone knows we are here for educational purposes only. So we are not registered trading advisors, so we cannot give you trading advice. We'll make sure that you know that we can train you, though, and to help you to know how to trade these markets on the live edge using our phenomenal tools. So because we're not an investment advisory service, we cannot tell you what to buy or to sell. We may hold positions in stocks or forex or equities, cryptocurrencies, and we'll make sure and we disclose that up front. Make sure you understand that there are risks involved in trading in futures, stocks, forex, equities, and cryptocurrencies. There's also a large potential for reward, but make sure that you're aware of the risks and that you're willing to accept them in order to trade in these markets. Please don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Past performance is never indicative of any future results. So please use common sense and get advice from a competent financial advisor before you invest in any of these markets. All right. I've got my NinjaTrader platform. Today is NinjaTrader Day, so we're going to be going over all things NinjaTrader. I'll be looking at all the different markets, be it futures or forex, equities. I can look at the volume starter package specifically to help you know how to get started trading with volume. And we're going to be doing a lot of expansion in our tools and our training, especially in the forex department. We've been working a lot with trying to improve that and to get that going. So look forward to that in the very near future. Markets did just open. I am looking at the S&P 500 on a 3-minute, a 6-minute, a 12-minute, and then a longer-term 60-minute chart. So that gives me an overall perspective of what to look at, how to trade them, and what I'm going to be doing with it. The markets have opened. It looks like from a corrective mode, but if you look at the longer-term time frame, that corrective mode is just simply from a lot of overnight bullishness. It's from the large amount of bullishness and volume that surged into the market over the past couple of days. You can see that that has consolidated yesterday and into today. So today has gone into a breakout mode. So prices come out of the consolidation range based on the 60-minute chart and is now trading back into that range. All right, that's very typical. Once you see a break, a retracement to retest that range is always a valid retest. So looking at the 15 or the 6-minute chart, you can see that in a little more detail. Let me expand the 6-minute chart a little bit. You can see that the consolidation that occurred over the previous 2 days during this morning's London Open. Okay, you can see that there's quite a bit of interest in getting on board these futures markets. And so Hawkeye gave a really nice indication of that coming right into the open of the London session. So if you were up and trading during that time of day, then you can probably see the link there. The 15-minute, in this case the 12-minute, also gave same indications. I usually trade a 3-minute chart, and I'm always looking to confirm my 3-minute chart with a 6 and 12-minute. Now, those trade times are just personal preference. They're ones I like to use. If you want to use a 4-minute, by all means use a 4-minute chart, but make sure that the time frame multiples that you use are integer multiples of each other and divide evenly into other time frames. I like 3 because 3 doubles nicely to 6 and 12, and all of these also are multiples of 60-minute time frames, and so I like that. 4 is also a multiple of 60. All right, so there's no problem using a 4-minute, even a 5-minute chart. All of those are still full integer multiples of 60 minutes. You can see the opening bar was very bullish, showing volume, buying volume coming into this open. So buying volume coming in shows a very bullish trend. So looking into that, we're looking for that trend to continue. The fat boy is showing us that all the markets are trending with strength. The Hawkeye Fat Boy is a strength meter that allows us to load it with 6 different futures or equities instruments. And in this case, the green line is the NASDAQ, the red line is the S&P 500, the cyan line is the Dow Jones, and the magenta line is the Russell or the mid cap, one of those two. So we're looking at those, not real tight correlation, but they all are all trending with strength. Gold and crude oil are looking like they're overbought and are starting to trend weak. So right now we're looking at this into the open. I do not like to take a trade in the first 15 minutes of a trading day because that is usually a very good stable trading range. It establishes the range for the day, and I like to use it for intraday support resistance. So based on that, I like to have that set up and use that range. So when I have a low, then I'll generally just take and create horizontal or lines according to that. We have a tool that we're currently developing and we're going to be releasing soon. It's called the Hawkeye Ranger, but the Ranger is basically a horizontal tool that allows you to automatically calculate and display the range of any period of time. So by applying the Ranger to the chart, then you will be able to see the low and the high of that particular price range, and then it will mark those for you to trade from for the rest of the day. We'll be putting that into play here very soon. But you can see that Hawkeye has shown that based upon this opening, you can see there is alignment on your 6-minute. We've got volume and momentum pushing in that direction. On our 12-minute, you can see volume aggressive signal given right here on the roadkill, showing that the volume has come in strong on the 12-minute as well. Like most charts, when we see a wide bar, Hawkeye rules say that you cannot take an entry if you have not already entered on a wide bar. So the wide bar we see statistically will pull back into the body of that wide bar. It's high probability of a reversal into the body, but then if this is a strong move, then we would look for that to continue to bounce right back out of that. So I pull back down into the opening range, maybe even a pull down into a gap fill. If you're looking at the tick charts, then we're looking at a potential for a gap fill to a 2670. Right. So 2670 on the S&P is the target for a full gap fill if we're looking at this right here. So that's a pretty good pullback for a gap fill. So you're looking at that price. This range right here would be a full gap fill on this. So we're watching for this. We've hit midline. So based upon this, we're looking for this wide bar to be broken to the north or to the south. And then that would give us a good trend direction. But I'm not going to take the trade unless it's outside of the 15-minute time frame. So the clock is ticking. We're 9 minutes into 15. We'll see what happens. I'm just talking up a storm here. I'm discussing the S&P, but we can easily look at the NASDAQ, the YM, or any of the other markets for now. This is just a great way to look at and talk about what's going on. The tools are awesome because they show you the development of volume coming in. If we only looked at volume, then let me pull that workspace up and see, because if you're using Hawkeye volume right now, and you're looking at that, then you can see the exact same picture, but we're only looking at it from a volume perspective. So looking at this here, we've got a 3-minute. Here's a 6-minute. I have those charts a little bit backwards. I like to see that. So I'm going to pull this over here and this one down. and this one here. So that way I'm looking at a 3-minute up here. Let me give myself just a little bit more room on the side. I've only got 8 there. I'll put in about 30. That'll give me a little bit more room to see that leading edge. I like to see that. So yeah, you've got a lot of buying volume coming in. Price has pushed up to a specific point, but you can see that point is not a new high. And you can see the longer time frame shows that that is in a downtrend, a corrective trend with a pivot high. So looking at a gap fill to 2670 is very much in the cards for now. So we don't know where it's going to go, but right now volume is showing bullish intent on the open. But right now we've got some weakness selling into this. So we haven't seen a close below our wide bar. Let's see how that pans out. NASDAQ. Looks like NASDAQ's giving the same picture. A lot of bullishness coming in. Wide bar established, no close below. So there was a nice bullish open of the London session. Okay, very clear to see the intent of volume to push into that. Okay, price came back down, failed. Buying started to come in, very responsive. Another failed attempt, and then very responsive buying. So it's really easy to see based upon the tools what we're looking for and the direction that we're going. Any type of weakness coming in also is also very clear to see. When you see multiple tops with selling pressure going into these highs, you're expecting to see price come back down into that. All right, so we still have not seen a close below the opening bar yet on either side. So we're still waiting for the direction. We've still got about 3 minutes left before I'm open to take any trades. Because this is Wednesday, there probably will be some news that are out. So those of you who look for news, just always make sure that you look for news events that are occurring anywhere close to your specific time frame of trade. This morning we did have some PPI and the core PPI coming out. Canadian building permits listed. At 10 o'clock, you got wholesale inventories, and at 10:30, of course, crude oil inventory. So we're always active on those times, and we're cognizant of the presence of those in our trading. I do not like to hold open positions into the open of the market, and I do not like to take a risk on strong news events that could affect my open positions. So I typically either close my intraday trades or make sure that I'm not in any risk during these times of day. There are a lot of Hawkeye traders who love that time of day to use as news trades. So using Hawkeye to help you to see and to analyze that is a great way to trade news events as well. All right, so let me put my full tools back on again. So what's crude oil looking at here? Looks like it's about sideways. Gold's coming back just a little bit. A lot of action in the forex market. NinjaTrader has come out with 4 new selections for forex traders, so they're really starting to step up into the forex world. So those of you who are forex traders on the NinjaTrader platform, they've opened up a whole lot more access to forex traders. So that's good news. Moving forward on that, so I'll make sure that you understand and know that as well. NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones. Yep. Dow Jones looks like it's a little bit weaker. You can see right here on the fat boy that the Dow is not as strong as the others. You've got the S&P, the mid caps NASDAQ are all trending, becoming a little bit overbought, but the Dow is falling behind just a little bit. And you can see that on the price from the original opening that it did extend down just a little bit farther than the others did. But now they're starting to turn just a little bit. We're starting to see some weakness. The KISS is starting to show that we do have a lot of bullishness in the market right now. It looks like there's a trend of advancing issues over declining issues, and so that's bullish intent. So we're looking to see if that will hold into this market, especially with all the potential breakout that we saw here this morning in the London session. Crude oil probably will not be trading much up until 10 o'clock news, but would be watching for that. And if you're looking at trading crude, news events are definitely things to take note of. All right, so we'll go back to the big boy S&P and we'll just see how it sets up. I love to trade NASDAQ and the YM. Don't get me wrong. It's just ES is the big boy, and sometimes when the ES signals, the others usually will come right in line and start to trade accordingly. Right now, it has broken and is in a congested long trend on my 3-minute. The 6-minute and the 12-minute are both in downtrends, but the 60-minute is in an uptrend. So I'm looking for these to come back around and to confirm the long entry direction. The KISS and the Fat Boy are both showing that there's potential for a good long breakout. But that's not an opinion. It's an observation, and that's the direction I would take right now based upon my setup. Mm-hmm. My 15 minutes is up. I'm free to trade at this point. I'm still well within my 15-minute range. You can see the 15-minute range has been established by the upper and lower range bound. So let's see if I can't do a horizontal line there. And let me turn that off. And let me get a horizontal line down here as well. All right, so that is my opening range. As I said, the Hawkeye Ranger is a tool that will automatically draw this for you if you define the time frame of the open and the range. And so based upon that opening range, if I do get a close outside of that opening range in the direction, then I would be looking at trying to take that as a trade entry, given that I have confirmed entry criteria. So a close above this isn't going to get me into the trade. What will get me in the trade? I'll need to see a price close into this range here. I need to also see that all of my other criteria for entry are satisfied. Everything looks good, then I'm following my rules and I'm looking good. Other than that, as you know, trading is a game of patience. We're not here trying to make money. Making money is an afterthought. It's what occurs when you are managing risk properly and you are trading probabilities. So we want to always make sure that we trade on the side that probability is highest for profit, and we also want to make sure we manage risk so that we're minimizing risk at any point in the game. Okay? Doing that, the money is just a byproduct. So if you're focused on the money, you're going to start becoming derailed, and then fear and greed start coming in, and you know how that plays out. NinjaTrader is a really great platform to help you to set this up. Let me see, I've got that locked. Good. So because you can set these time frames up, you can have all the tools that you need linked together. You can also expand your charts to help you to get a much better picture. With the roadkill set up on multiple time frames, you can see exactly when the charts align, and it will give you a signal to that extent. For example, this is the trend of my 6-minute chart. This is the volume of my 6-minute chart. Below this is the heat map of my 6-minute chart, and then I've got a trend and volume of my 12-minute chart loaded here. The signals listed here show the alignment of the longer time frames with my current trading time frame chart. And so with that alignment, that gives me the ability to see trade entries when they're presented. For example, the double dot alignment of magenta at this point gave me a short entry condition. Okay. Here is another double dot alignment right here, giving another short entry position. These are both long entry positions. Right here is a nice double dot alignment showing an initial long. Here is a secondary roadkill showing a longer term alignment, but still in line with the previous signal. Here, this one is not aligned, but it is offset because this initial signal showed that the shorter time frame cycled in, but the longer time frame wasn't quite ready. So when it came in, then you got the longer time frame alignment. So while this was good for a shorter time frame, this was the confirmed longer time frame entry. Either one were good entries based upon your trading rules, whether you could trade those. The initial entry, however, was right here. Okay. The tools make it easy to take the entry because you're looking for confirmed trend, momentum, and volume. And along with that, confirming that the longer time frame conditions are met, i.e., you're looking at volume, momentum, and longer time frame volume are all supporting the direction that you are currently looking to trade. Once that's done, you're not going to be caught in false breakouts. You're not going to be tricked into taking the high of the day when it reverses on you and so forth. You're trading smart, and you've got a written trading plan that follows precise, definitive rules. No, all questions are live, and you can ask a question at any time. Kay, okay, or Christy, however you want to do that. And I don't usually do a summary at the end. I usually have a presentation of an offer. If someone wants to get started using Hawkeye, then I have a very special offer to provide and to present to you. But other than that, ask away. Oh, Keith. Okay, I just see a K-E-I there. Winfield, you like offers? Yeah. Well, I think that you're already on board with that. So the offer is mainly just to purchase the Hawkeye starter package. So the starter package gets you on board with Hawkeye. It's a one-time purchase, unlike any of the subscriptions. We do offer subscriptions if you just want to give it a try, if you want to try out the tools on a month-to-month basis. But if you're ready to dive in and purchase right away, then that's obviously the better way to go in the long term, for sure. So Keith, ask away. I'm here to help. Today we are focused on the NinjaTrader platform. Hawkeye is available on multiple platforms: NinjaTrader, TradeStation, MetaTrader 4, TradingView. However, today's training class and demonstration is focused specifically on NinjaTrader. So I'll give all of my demonstrations and I'll show everything working on the Ninja platform, but they are all fully functional and available on the other platforms as well. So while we're waiting for setups here, I can go ahead and make some offers. Those of you who are looking at the CAD yen from yesterday, bam, it's done quite phenomenally. So I'm very impressed. I think, well, I don't know if it was you, Nahid, or someone, but we were looking at that yesterday, and man, that sure did take off. That was a really good move. So congratulations to those who were there and who took that. I know my good friend Terry. He's a forex trader. He's going to be coming on board with Hawkeye here very soon. He was all over that. So, but I think it's great news. So let me get that starter package up here real quick, and then I'll make you that very quick offer, and then I'll get back to what we're looking at here. All right, I'm going to paste it here in the chat window. So over on the right hand side, you'll see a little chat window there. But what that is a link to purchase the Hawkeye volume starter package for 97 bucks. We typically sell it for $397. It's a full package of 5 indicators, but we make that available to those of you who are in my training room for $97 to get started, to help you to see and understand, to get going on that. Plus, not only does it get you started, but it also gives you an upfront discount that you can apply to the rest of your upgrades if you decide to purchase the remaining tools on top of that. So it's a great way and to get going. It's no better way to get started because you can make up that $97 your first day that you use it just by applying simple rules. Well, thanks, Timothy. I appreciate that. That's nice to know. So if we were to look at what was included in that, here, let me pull that up. What is included in that, you'll see these are all the tools only that are included. Of course, you would want to use this with your MACDs, your moving averages, your Bollingers, your Ichimokus, and whatever else that you're using out there. If you integrate volume with the tools, then it gives you the ability to identify market reversals to help you to see the directional intent the institutions have, but that now you have in these markets. And if you are a forex trader, then it becomes an exceptional tool to help you to see and to identify these trends. Identifying the volume spikes in the market help you to see and to know when the markets are starting to surge and to trade in a specific direction, and knowing that volume, and especially the longer term volume, is behind that trade direction, it's going to give you an edge that most forex traders just ignore because they do not think that forex has volume information, but it does. So Hawkeye takes advantage of that. And with a simple indicator like volume, the Hawkeye volume indicator, it shows you not only on the volume magnitude, but on the price bars itself, the color of the price relative to that, the advantages that you have with that. So I encourage you to do that. So there's the link to do that. 97 bucks. We normally sell it for $397, but you can get it today for just 97, and that discount applies all the way up. Oh, Nicholas said it was Gordon on the CAD yen on that. So that's an excellent call. super information on that. Thanks for sharing that, Nicholas. I appreciate it. All right. Ooh, looks like a little bit of weakness coming in here. So see, we're not looking to buy or to sell. We see some direction, but look at the decorrelation in this market. The 3-minute fat boy showing that there's a lot of decorrelation. The S&P is lagging. The Nasdaq and the Dow Jones have already gone into short mode. They might have already closed below and even triggered entries on those things, but we're coming up into the news right now at 10, so we'll just wait for that to clear and then we'll see if we can't get a signal one way or the other. But if we do get a signal on the downside, I would see at least a 2670 to the downside on the S&P. Winfield asks a good question. He asked, and let me go ahead and share that with everyone. I'll send it to everyone so you can see that. But Winfield asked, I do have a question on the 3 time frames. Is it too easy? Is it too early to go in everything on a slow and medium lineup, but longer volume is only neutral? No, it is a little bit early because what you really want to see is you need to see that long-term buying or selling is confirming. Now, neutral just says that there's an equal distribution. So it says there's an equal number of buyers or sellers. So that's saying it could go either way. That's what it's telling you. Okay. So I would wait for confirmation of a color. Volume is the most important indicator. So I would want to make sure I have a confirmation of the color of the volume before I take the trade. So if you get everything lines up, but the longer time volume doesn't, I would wait. That's just me personally, but I would make sure that I'm confirmed on that. The Hawkeye Roadkill will give you an indication when that alignment occurs. It will not signal if the volume on the longer time frame does not trigger. Keith says you trade forex as well. Had a nice trade today on the dollar CAD. Short, great. The CAD yen is looking good too, absolutely. So while we're waiting for this to continue to develop, you can see that it has tried to break out several times. These are false breakouts. These are attempts at the market trying to get down into these untested regions, trying to get some retail traders to dive in, and notice how quickly price reverses back up. Another push out, and then very quickly comes right back into fair value. See, so the price is testing these ranges here to see, but it's got a directional intent. So I don't know if the market's going to try to fill the gap before it goes on, but there's definitely a bias to the upside based upon our KISS. The KISS is saying that the advancing is over declining issues by a good margin. We are currently decorrelated, which means that you've got a lot of indecision. We expect range trading based upon that. So based upon that, we're still well within our opening 15-minute range. That's what our tools are telling us. So with these filter tools, they help us to trade responsibly, and that we don't try to get in too early or try to hang ourselves on these really quick breakouts. And these trades, based on 3 or 6 minute charts, can typically last several hours. Here, this short trade lasted for about an hour and a half before the opening took it out. Other trades, like this one right here, you can see it started about 3 and it was over right about 6 o'clock. So that lasted about 3 hours. So you're looking for intraday trend trades that we can take and take advantage of when it presents itself. So let me open up the forex market here real quick, and I'll keep this open in the meantime. Forex charts, yeah, here's the CAD yen that I was looking at. Looks like it's starting to show some topping. Notice that we're starting to see some sell as prices reaching into the upper side. So if I were in this trade, you can see that that occurred one other time. So I would have probably taken profit here and here if I was only using that. If I were using the levels, then I would apply my level rules and then trade this based upon that. If you are a building trader, i.e. you like to take the initial signal when it's given, and then you take the trade based upon the direction of the trade, then you add at these points. So when you see this pullback and continuation, then these are perfect places to add to your position and build your trade until you see a time to get out. When you start to see large price and volume pushes up into extended ranges, then those are really good signs of exhaustion and potential correction. So you don't need to leave money on the table if you start to see that occurring. The fat man, like the fat boy, is a tool that helps us to see individual currency strength. So here we can see the Canadian is the strongest of all of the currencies right now, and the Japanese yen is the weakest. Okay? The US dollar is in a trend of weakness. The pound, Australian, and New Zealand are all in trends of strength. The euro is kind of oscillating between fair value and strength, but right now it's hit a strong point and is starting to roll over. So the current trend is weak, but it is the fourth strongest currency out there amongst all the others. So it's a really nice tool to help you to see and to know which pairs that you'd want to be looking at. Aussie yen, absolutely, you'd be looking for that one as a potential as well. So these are the things that you'd be looking at for that. The tools for the market analyzer are awesome because they show you the current up or down trend configurations and the trend volume and heat map associated with any of those. So it's a really great spreadsheet view of where the market is and whether you want to be considering any of these other tools in that. So I can see that the dollar Swiss, here's the dollar yen, here's your dollar Canadian. It's currently in a short trend, but it's got some weakness and might have just turned short because you can see that the volume has gone from green back into red. The longer term heat map is red, so it is in a fresh new trend. And so if we were to pull up the charts and look at that, then we can see that. You can see based on the CAD yen that we're looking at here, we've got a 5 uptrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a trend of 5 up trend dots. You can see the volume has just turned red, previous volume, okay? And the current volume is green, so you're looking for the previous and current right there, previous, current, and you're looking at the building volume right here to give us an identification whether it's going to go long or short. Now this can be misleading because right now you can see the color changes, but that is user definable. So if you pull up your indicators, if you go to the Hawkeye volume paint bar, you can see that the volume paint bar can be calculated, whether it's calculated on bar close, on each tick, or on each price change. So it will continue to oscillate or change until the bar closes and lock itself in. All right. Let's look at the dollar CAD real quick then. Yeah, oh, beautiful. That's what is so beautiful about Hawkeye is that you can very quickly see when the markets are going to change and how it relates. Look at the 60-minute chart, for example. You are already seeing this trade coming up into this range. When you see a big price bar like this sticking out, it's like a sore thumb, saying price is trying to trap retail traders into a false breakout, pulls back really quickly. When this price bar closes, and you can see the magnitude of that price bar, I call these price extension with opposing volume. So when you see that occur, and you see that the the fat man is telling you that that dollar is way overbought and is starting to flatten, but you see that the strength in the oversold Canadian is starting to come up. That's a real clear sign that, hey guys, people are selling the dollar and buying Canadian. This is a great time not only to get out, but to start looking at reversing your trade. Hawkeye won't let you get back in again until you see this, but here is a second indication right here of price starting to push up. You can see the trend of volume of strength in that Canadian, a continuation of weakness in that dollar. So watch for these little curves, because once this shows it gets back into a fair range and then cycles, that failure with a declining trend in your fat man will show an acceleration of price that follows. And you can see that volume was clearly supporting it, and volume was indicating here 60, 120, 240 minutes. So you're basically looking at 3 hours prior to your initial signal that this direction was coming. But if you're trading faster time frames, you don't have to wait 3 hours. At this point, you can simply look at the shorter time frames that you are trading. Look for those confirmations. This push up, you can see, was not identified on your 5-minute, but you can easily see an hour later that that was identified on your 60-minute. So any of these signals, this one right here, this one here, or this one here, were valid entry points along the way. Okay, so you're looking for initial signal entry points of getting in, managing the trade, taking your profits as they come. This right here would have given me an indication of a profit take, although it was trading, according to 6 ways of market moves, very, very stably. Consolidation, price came right back up, boom. There was the end of your trade right there. The trade was out if you were looking at holding it. Buying and holding would have given you this much. Let's see, what is that? Here was the initial signal. We'll say we got in right there. Okay, there's the initial point. Let's take that down to this where you broke the stop right there, and then that will tell us that we've got a 53 pip move. That's 53 bars or a 51 pip move. And so in the other case then, let me just make sure I do that. Yeah, so Control F3. Do the same thing. All right, so you confirm an exit at this point here. All right, that's a 40 pip move, and you can confirm an exit right there. Consolidation, a break, and then right here, here was the break of your congestion, but it was also a break, so you're still looking at a break at that point there. So it's going to be the same mark there. So you're still looking at confirming 40 and 51 pips on a trade of minimal risk, maximum probability of reward. And just simply following your rules. Hawkeye here. Okay, this is a confirmation of a continuation of a trend. Okay, so volume was trying to buy in, that failed. As soon as that buy came back up, you can see that that price was not responsive to this buying volume. But now you can see volume is responsive to the downside. So this right here gave an initial signal short. So you can see already that taking the alignment and continuation in the overall direction of your trade is going to be always going to be the direction that you want to be moving in. Not against the prevailing trend, but in line with it. This was just a simple correction. If you're trading longer time frame, 5 minutes is awfully fast. Longer time frames, it's not even an issue. You're looking for and holding this trend and continuing to hold that trend. Looks like you're looking for at least another, what is that, 10, 15 pips before we reach the floor support based upon that 60-minute. And you can also see that there's still quite a bit of weakness left in that dollar, and that Canadian is still looking really strong at this point. Canadian can be affected by the oil news reports, so make sure that at 10:30 today, here in about 15 minutes, that you're going to be careful if you're trading the Canadian dollar of those oil news reports. All right, okay, more questions. Let's see here. Do I try to trade the opening range top to bottom before the break? I do not. Only on if I'm looking at gap fill trades, then I do. But there's definitely money to be made trading that opening range for sure. Looks like we're still very much range bound. We are trading in the previous day's point of control and VWAP, volume weighted average price. So this is probably going to stay in this range for a while. This opening 15-minute range, you can see, is a strong, and it usually holds through the rest of the day. So these are great ways of doing that. If you don't have the Hawkeye Ranger, then just simply look at the opening 15 minutes, draw your lines, and then have it set in so that you're on those lines and have those lines to continue for the rest of the day. So once you see that, then you'll be able to see that a break of that will generally become a new support, and a break of this support then becomes a new resistance line. So it's a real common thing to see. The fat boy looks good for finding strong and weak crosses. Yeah. Um, the crosses aren't really of interest unless you trade with something that has opposing trends, but I like to see it for areas of correlation. See this right here where they're starting to trend all in unison at the right time. These are places that usually show trend strength. And when you see them all decorrelated like they are now, where you can see that the Dow is weak, but you've got the S&P starting to look strong. You can see the Russell or the mid caps. Okay, they have stayed strong. They've really not gone anywhere overall, but they're all decorrelated. They're kind of on their own. So there's not going to be any real trend direction if they're all decorrelated. But the markets usually like to trend together. And when they do, the fat boy identifies that by coming in and creating very tight unified lines of direction, either up or down. This identifies a weak area or oversold. This identifies a strong area or overbought. And so you're typically looking at the cycles to reverse themselves. So when they're overbought, they typically trend down back to fair value. They're always wanting to get back into the mid-range or fair value of these things. Based upon the KISS, we do see a bias towards bullishness in this market, so that's what we're looking at. The 6-minute is starting to show us we have bullish intent coming into volume, pushing into here. And we can also see based upon the open that the opening price gave us a bullish intent in the market, but this is just ranging. So we're waiting for all three to come in alignment to see if we're going to be doing that, moving in that direction. We have not filled the gap today yet, but we have the capability of doing that. And we just might do it, but I don't know yet. We'll have to see. Yeah, you can have different time frames in the heat map for sure. This heat map right here is the heat map for my 3-minute. This heat map is a heat map for my 6-minute. So the heat map HT is the higher time frame version of the heat map and allows you to set it to any time frame on this chart. So I can look at the 12, the 15, the 30 or any of them at the same time. And I can multiple load them like the roadkill. It's part of the roadkill package. So if you buy the roadkill, the heat map HT comes with it. You also have the trend HT and the volume HT as part of the roadkill indicator. Tick charts? Yeah, absolutely, Nicholas. Hawkeye works beautifully with tick charts. Range bars, volume bars, and so forth. Renko. There are a lot of Hawkeye traders that are using the Renkos on the charts. They tend to be real popular. I'm a tick and a time guy. So I prefer to see volume on a time scale. It gives me a really good feel for the market. Tick bars give me real smooth charts that are not time-based, and I like to trade the harmony of both together. That's just me personally. Keith, red bar with the dot at the top. That's where you shorted it. Yeah, the dot at the top is the Hawkeye pivot. The Hawkeye pivot identifies isolated highs or lows in the market, and from these points we expect to see 3 to 5 price bars of reversal when we see those occur. So those are also part of your starter package. Looks like we are starting to set up. The momentum has gone dark here. Volume is green, but my 12-minute volume is still white. So if I were to close above this line, I would probably get a signal off of my 6-minute chart, but I would not get a signal off of my 12-minute. So it would give me an initial signal. I would wait. I'm noticing that the volume is less than the opening volume. It is also declining volume on my 6-minute. I can also see a trend of declining volume here on the 12. So this might not be strong enough to get me in. The markets are trending up, so that gives me a valid confirmation to go long. So if I do get a long signal here, if everything else meets my criteria, then I can go long. But I'm patiently waiting for that confirmation. 8 minutes, you're going to get the crude oil inventory news. Those of you who are trading crude oil, you want to make sure you watch for that. We haven't looked at crude oil yet. Right now, you can see the white line. That's crude oil. Crude oil right now is showing it's been building a little bit right now, so it's looking a little bit strong based on a 3-minute com. But we still got about 7 minutes before the news comes out. We're starting to see some topping on crude oil and some selling coming in there, so watch out for that. See that? Know what I mean by that? You can current price, we're in an uptrend, but we've got selling volume coming in, previous and current. So that looks like we're topping. People are starting to sell at that uptrend. We've got trend and momentum showing it, but the volume is saying that there's some weakness coming into that level. So just be cautious when you're taking those. Make sure and trade the news bar, not the break, because they'll always go in the wrong direction on the initial news anyway. They'll read the news, they'll react, and then they'll read more into it, and then they'll correct themselves. So just always be careful. Be smart. Use common sense. Keith, the 5-minute bar looks good. The trailing stop is based on it's an automatic trailing stop. It's based on average true range of price and standard deviation. Right now, the average true range, based on that, you can set that distance in the settings of the trend and stops indicator. So if you format the trend and stops indicator, you can set the stop the trend speed to any specific point. So right now you can see it's set to normal. I typically like to have it set to conservative. You can also see aggressive. A conservative setting is about a 2.4 ATR. A normal is about 2.0 ATR. Aggressive is about a 1.5. Okay. So that's the distance from price that the stop will be maintained. It's automatic trailing, so it stabilizes itself when you see range bound, and then it starts to trend with the price as the price starts to break and trend as well. Nicholas, so you have an MT4 and you're thinking of changing to Ninja because of the tick charts. Okay, let me see if I can pull a workspace up here for you. Yeah, I don't have any on the right side, but I'll pull one up and then I'll drag it across for you, so that way you don't have to worry about it. It'll clear the screen on the right, but it'll be loaded, and as it's loading, then I'll be able to pull back to it. So, would you like to see forex or futures? Nicholas? Forex, please. Okay. Let's see here. Forex with the gearbox. Because that way it calculates the optimal time frame to use with your tick charts. Oh, there it is. All right, it's going to clear the screen as it's loading, so this looks like a pretty good time to do it. Okay, so I'm going to have to drag these over here individually and resize them because they're on my other monitors, so I have to switch things around here, and then I'll resave this. Here's my gearbox, and there's my gear changer, and my market analyzer. I have the chart here, and of course, the fat man. Move that about to there. Let's move this down to there. Yeah, this one right here, I'm not sure. I think I will just fill this up with arrow for now, at least. And then make these a little bit bigger. All right, so what we're looking at here, and let me pull that, I'll make that a little bit bigger there. Okay. This is a 1424 tick, that's a 53 and a 24. So it looks like this is our fast, here's our medium, and then this is our slow. It's a little bit different than the way I typically like it set up, but you can see that it's set up any of those particular ways. So you base them on the tick settings that's given by your gear box right here. So right now, this is the Euro US dollar. The Euro US dollar is giving me these as my initial setting. So at 336 is the tick here. So I'll select that and do a 336T. Okay. Now that changed it to a 336 tick chart. This one, I want to change it to a 678. Okay, I don't know why it gave me that. And this one right here, I want to change it to a 1344. What is it? 672. Okay, that took it on that one. All right, so, and then with that, what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the updating my roadkill as well. So because I changed the tick speed on that, I need to change the tick speed on my roadkill. So my roadkill settings still show the slower speeds, so I'm going to change that to 1 up. So if I'm on a 336, I want this to be my 672 tick. I want my heat map, that was the first roadkill. I want my heat map HT also to be the yellow speed, which is 672 tick. And then I want my second roadkill, this one right here, to be the red, which is 1344. Okay, so now I've aligned and set my roadkills and everything to align and to give me into the right time frame. Right, I still have my fat man set to time frame because that's the only time frame. It won't plot on tick charts. You still have to use time frame to do that. Okay, 672 is the tick for that. I don't know why that cleared out, but some reason when I changed, I see it just the display went wonky. I don't know why. Let's format that. Make sure 672. Everything looks good on that. I don't know. Maybe it's the display. Okay. I'll refresh it later. Here I got another roadkill. Need to update it. Make sure that roadkill. This is on the second time frame. So I want to make sure the roadkill is looking at my third time frame. So I want that one set to red. And I don't have roadkills on the other ones. Okay. See, I don't have that one in, so let me give it the, what was that, the CAD yen? CAD yen calculates and goes through, and so pull up the CAD yen. It's going to change everything all around so that if you do change different ones, it's going to recalculate the optimal tick speed for those markets. So you'll want to make sure that you're in those particular time frames. But you'll have to go through the same process of updating the charts to these tick speeds. You saw it took maybe a minute to go through everything. Okay, so I'll go back to the Euro US dollar since it's already set up for that. Oh, it updated. I must have been locked before. It's not really showing me the data. See, these are different numbers. These are different values. Let me make sure that that's set up properly. Yeah. That looks good. So yeah, I don't know why the previous numbers. I think it was it saved a previous value and didn't update when I loaded it. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. So to update these, just simply take the roadkill value that you see here, update the chart, make sure that you update the indicators as well. My futures guys are going crazy. Okay. Yeah, no, let me pull that back up again. Let me save this as gearbox. Okay. Okay, got it saved. So let me go and pull up the other ones then. Russell did. The Russell signaled short. Did it give the alignment? Second time frame volume didn't look like it lined up. It gave a one signal, so you got risk. You got about a 25% risk in that trade if you took it. Second time frame never aligned, so you got half a roadkill entry. The S&P never signaled. The Dow, the Nasdaq, neither one of those signaled yet. So we're still sidelining it. Let me see, what's crude oil doing? It looks like crude oil started to spike long. It's coming right back down just like we expected. Wide bar rule applies. Trade the resulting trend from the breakout of the wide bar. Let me pull that up really quick just to show you that. Okay. So you've got a resulting wide bar from the news. Looks like there's bullishness in the news. So the price broke and went long, but it came right back down. And where did it come to? The midpoint of your wide bar. Okay. I sound like a broken record, don't I? I know. But you're looking for a break above. The resulting trend from this news is the trend you want to trade. All right. So you're looking for a break to the long side or a break to the short side with confirming everything else. So you can draw your lines if you want to. Let's turn that off. There it is, F6. F6, and another one right there. All right, so there's your break zone right there. Keith, the market analyzer, each box represents can represent any time frame. So if you were to look at, for example, the crude oil, if we were to format the column for that, then you can see the instrument and the conditions for each of the boxes. And so you can see each box, like the down count or the up count, each has a setup and time frame associated with it. So the properties for each one can be pre-configured, so you can set them to be any time frame that you like. So they can be multiple time frames if you want to set it up that way. You cannot add multiple instruments, so you can't have two separate rows of NASDAQ. It won't allow you to do that. But you can, on a single row, use multiple single row, multiple columns. So you can have a 5-minute, a 15-minute, and a 30-minute column all on the same instrument. So yes, on the pound Aussie, the same. You could set it up the exact same way. Nicholas, send us an email, or you can send it directly to me at randy@hawkeyetraders.com, and I'll give you a reply on how to switch your platforms. If you want to stay on the current platform you're using, or if you just want to completely switch, that's I can give you both options. So just let me know. Ron, if you're trading your daily, weekly, and monthly, and there's a wide bar on both the daily and the weekly, oh my. Yeah, see those are big bars, but they're still wide bars. You wait for the first 5 price bars. Once you see 5 price bars trade, if it has not broken that range, but gives you a confirmed signal of long or short, then you can take that trade signal. You don't have to wait for it to break the wide bar. It's safer, but if you get after 5 price bars, if you get a trend, volume, and momentum directional trade from that, then yes, take the trade. All right, guys, I'm out of time. I've got to get running for the day, but I hope that you guys will continue to trade the Hawkeye way. Apply your rules, develop your trading plan, make sure you follow it, make sure you stay safe. Okay? And if you have any questions or comments, you can always reach me at support@hawkeyetraders.com. Support@hawkeyetraders.com. Don't forget the link to the Hawkeye Volume Starter Package I gave you earlier. I've posted it in the screen. It is displayed. Let me see, not on the video, but I'll have it on the text for you. So, okay, you guys take care. Kevin, tell us. I'll do that. I'll answer that real quick. Let me go ahead and stop the recording at this point.